Welcome to New Europe Studios, where you can watch us make the news. Today I'm with two leading scientists, Dr. Jacopo Meldolesi and Dr. Antonio Simeone. Both of these are from Italy and they're working on a very exciting new collaborative project. Dr. Meldolesi, could you tell me a little bit about Neurobiotech?
Neurobiotech is a project that originates from an existing research hospital, which is called Neuromed, is located in between Rome and Naples. So in an area which is not famous for science and clearly appears at the beginning very far away from what we want to do. However, the research hospital that was established something like 20 years ago is already extremely successful. All the patients come from not only from the surrounding villages but from large portions of the country, and because they are specialized in neurology, neurosurgery, and some of the specialties that they use are made only there south of Rome. And for this reason, a few years ago, the people of the hospital decided to get started with research, which is research is usually divided into basic and application research, and in between there is so-called translational research, which is basic research, which is oriented, however, to the application. And the research done at Neuromed includes all types of this research. The new idea that makes on which I have worked during the last 2 years as the chief scientific officer is to establish connections with other institutions doing research in the cities that not too far away from the little village where the hospital is, which is called Pozzilli. It's a small village with this already big hospital, and establish collaboration, is opening laboratories which are in common, and doing things that neither one could do independently. And starting from this, we have now decided to how do you say, to make it bigger and to
take this on to the next step,
to expand the challenge, if you want, to other institutions, going from bottom to top, which is we will offer the possibility to join, to have access to facilities and to services, and to do good science, no matter whether basic or applicative.
Okay. Well, I mean, Dr. Simeone, this seems like one of the advantages that science and technology, research and innovation has, is you can set up a cutting-edge establishment in quite a remote area. And I noticed here that one of your central core, your mission statement, as it were, is to consider research excellence and human health as the main goal. How are you going to put this into practice?
Well, so just on the basis of what Jacopo said and on what you are asking, the way to put together this and to realize this is essentially to put together scientists. And as a CNR, as a representative of the CNR, the National Council of Research, is remarkably interested in this opportunity, and already has signed some agreement with the regional government of this area to have to establish an interest, a scientific interest in neuromed for this project. As a director of a CNR institution like the IGB International Institute of Genetic and Biophysics, where I am director, we already worked with Jacopo and other scientists at the Neuromed to bring together joint project that has as a final aiming at defining new ideas, new project, and training of peoples that could work in Neuromed, but also in our institute. So a sort of exchange in competence, technology, and training.
So this is, I mean, we're all used to kind of academic researches and networks, but this seems to be also trying to build like a network of networks where each of these people, each of these bodies and institutes that you work for or contact with are doing that.
Yeah.
So this is a very global thinking involved
Absolutely.
here. Now, Dr. Meldolesi, this is not just an abstract kind of thing. This is about real results in the real world ultimately. And two of the illnesses I know that you're talking about and looking for more research into is into Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's. Now, I'm sure many people watching this will know someone who's had one or both of these two illnesses. Could you just tell me a little bit about what is the scale of the problem ahead of you in trying to tackle these illnesses?
Well, you know, let me permit to start with the general sentence. And the general sentence is that in science, you don't start every day to do something different. You don't invent things every day, but you follow an idea which is based on your know-how, your previous experience, and what has been successful in the past, the people you have met, and the training you got, and so on. So the general idea is, if you put together good scientists with a different background and able to contribute competitive technologies and also new connections with other people outside Italy or so on, you are going to be in a much better condition with respect to isolated scientists who can maybe work every day but without the connections we were speaking about. And this is what we want to do. Clearly, there are hundreds of people working on diseases such as this, because these are not only among the diseases that hurt people in general the most, but also because these are, let's say, get worse and worse with time, because people get older and life has become longer, and for example, both of these diseases are going to be worse in the future. So putting together people that have different experience can provide us with something new and original compared to the many other groups that are doing the job. Not because we want to be faster than the others, but because we want our work to be useful. Okay?
Yeah.
And this can be because
and innovative.
Yeah, innovative and useful.
I mean, one of the things here is we've got a very innovative idea, an innovative location.
If I can add another thing, if you have such a work going on, this will attract the attention of other people that maybe are interested in developing a new therapy or new treatments and so on. And so this will expand the potential of the project.
And with such an innovative idea and a place, and this idea of bringing about people just to see what happens with a new mix, it's a very inclusive form of science, it seems to me. Very multidisciplinary.
Absolutely.
And what kind of reactions have you both had to this idea, which is only just being launched, but you've got the goal of putting fully fledged projects in action within a year, so you do not lack ambition.
Oh no, we are already working on that.
That is something that so comes now from a few years where already we have experienced about the possibility that may be a real big project. So we did some project in common. We established connection based on sharing different technology, putting together different expertise, sharing different expertise, and trying to generate new project. Well, that has worked.
Yeah.
With this new player, big player, university, CNR, enterprise, the idea of Professor Meldolesi, I think, could be successful. There is obviously is something that we should see in 1-2 years, not tomorrow, and may be independent from the general idea that is at the basis of the project of neurobiotech, which I think is certainly a very good idea. But to establish these things, frequently there are independent things, including political reason, bureaucracy, and many other that has not much to do with the science directly.
There's a purity of science that does have an interesting interface with the real world. I mean, one thing, if I could pick up from both of you of what you said, is your project, like your work, like all research, is a product of many years, often decades or even longer, of research and trying things out. We've heard so many politicians say that, research is so important. We've got to have innovation-led growth.
They say that.
Exactly.
I think we've all seen it too often. But when it comes down to actually putting their hands in the pocket and putting some money for this long-term research,
exactly,
they suddenly, as we say in England, develop deep pockets and short arms. I mean, are you finding that perhaps the crisis that Italy, which has suffered more than many countries has had, is encouraging perhaps more of this long-term thinking now? Do you have hope?
Well, both Antonio and myself, we had chances to stay abroad, and at a certain point we have decided to go back home. This not only because we like pasta and pizza, and not only because I don't know, we had some people that we liked, but also and especially because we wanted to be useful to research in our country. And this is absolutely true. This has been
I think also you're doing something globally, you're doing something internationally, you're part of a very international workforce and the people and teams that you collaborate with, but also there is a sense that you're helping to continue the Italian record in contributing tremendously to science. Do you think that this will make a difference?
The contribution of Italy has been tremendous up to something like the 17th century. Not so much later on. There's been an improvement in the 20th century, and now we hope to to have a further improvement now, because science in Italy has improved greatly. So clearly, for the money, we consider extremely important the connection to Europe, and also, some of us have been able to get international grants, and this will be continued. But more and more, to do good science, you need to have a mass, a critical mass. And this is not really very easy to do in the traditional universities and so on. So the Neurobiotech will offer this possibility. Okay.
So just carrying on from that, Dr. Simeone, Italy has had terrible unemployment. I mean, there must be a very difficult time for kids in school wondering what the future holds, and this could offer something, because another thing that's talked about is we need to get more people into science, we need to get more people into research. I mean, how many kind of jobs are dependent on technology and research in Italy, for example?
Well, this is a real, you want to say this? No. This is a real, how do you say, a paradox of Italy at the moment, because we do have the possibility to do things at high tech, but traditionally most of the work which is done in Italy is not high tech. And for the moment, the economical situation of the country is not as bad, is not as similar to Greece, because we export. We are the second exporter in Europe after Germany, and we export not only there's something.
So, I mean, if we're dealing with exports, we're dealing with products, we're dealing with manufacturing.
We do not export only the La Moda is fashion. Huh? Of course, we are the first in fashion, but we are also the first in many other things. And but high tech is not used. Our high tech is employed only 50%. Do you agree on this?
Yes.
So we have a tremendous possibility of improvement. To give you an example,
please.
The drug industry has almost disappeared in the country. Isn't that ridiculous? I mean, there was all the possibility to have a good and competitive drug industry, and this has almost disappeared. And we had it until 30 years ago, and
So, I mean, if you're saying that with science and technology in the terms that you understand it, if you're only operating at 50% as a nation, and I'm sorry to narrow this down to one country because we'll then come up globally, how do we get that other 50% going? And is there a lesson in that for other countries who have also seen the science, technology, research, innovation not proceed at the pace it could?
Well, it's hard to speak about other countries, but what I can say is that we could do much better than what we
could do much better.
We could do certainly as well as France, for example. No, you think?
Yeah.
I mean, but
maybe
also
in different areas, but that is an opportunity for the South.
But I mean, we do need to finish this up because you've got a whole series of appointments to keep. But when we say this about this, we can do what France can do. We can do this. You're not competing like two businesses, one against another. You're two countries that have got a strong tradition in science, research, innovation.
With France?
France has.
Yeah, well, of course, it's not a competition with France, but this is only an example.
Yes,
exactly. Where we are.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk in your terms about another country, we're talking about a geographical area that will provide you with research and network opportunities. That's very different to how other people view national boundaries.
One such opportunity. Yeah. Neurobiotech is exactly something to develop biotech or products in an area where this has been forgotten for years and years.
So I'd like to thank you both for coming along. And I'd say this is one example of where research and innovation is taking place. It's in a small place between two very large cities where there's not a lot of opportunities for growth, development or anything. But this has been a good place, almost like a greenhouse or a seed bank for what could be the next generation of not just Italian, not just European, but some global scientists to help do this. And I remind you again, they're tackling very, very serious issues and illnesses. And we as a citizenship should be wanting our politicians to put their hands in the pocket and to support the research and innovation that they talk so much about, so that people like these two eminently expert doctors and scientists can actually carry out these promises for the benefit of us all. Gentlemen, doctors, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been nice. It's a free